Welcome back to Cross-Cultural Communications. Again, I'm Sean Watts. This week, we are going to make sure that we don't talk about just being silent. We're going to talk about not only how we can communicate, but we're going to get some student participants to share their attempts to communicate and get value or share value with other people in class today. And so to start, I think we have Gwen and your team. Would you be able to start presenting your stuff, Gwen?
Yep, I'm ready whenever you are.
Waiting for you.
All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so we're going to be sharing our survey results, which for those of you who can't remember or just need a refresher, we decided to survey Kamion students about like their study habits and whatnot. So Simon, if you want to start us out.
Okay, so first question was, we asked the respondent about whether they are student of Kamion University or not. So as you can see, 89.4% said they are KMU student, and 8.5% they are not, and 2.1%, I think that's one person from Fungdong University. And second question, you can see their majors. And third question, you can see a 55.3% are female and the rest are male students. And for the third one, fourth one, you can see 45.8% study on campus and 54.2% prefer study off campus. And next, number 5, 37% of student respondents prefer they study in cafe, and 15.2% they prefer library, and 43.5% they prefer home or dormitory. And for number 6, you can see a 37.5% of students they study usually 3 to 5 hours a day, and 56.3% they study usually 2 hours or less, and only 6.2% they study more than 6 hours per day.
All right, Will, if you can present the next ones.
Okay, according to the graph, 56.3% of students prefer to study from 1 to 3 hours at a time, and another is 29.2% prefer to study 1 hour at a time, and other is 12.5% study from 3 to 6 hours at a time. And next question, 33.3% of students take a study break every hour, and 27.1% take break every 30 minutes. 30.8% take a study break every few hours, and the other is more often than every 30 minutes. 45.8% of students prefer to 4 to 5 days a week. Other is 37.5% prefer to study from 2 days a week, and lastly is 10.4% prefer to study 6 to 7 days. And Kamion University prefer to study mostly in Wednesday is 36.2%, and the secondly is Monday and Thursday, which takes 34%, and Tuesday takes 29.8%, Friday takes 27.7%, and Sunday 3.4%, and Saturday takes 19.1%. And according, as you can see from the graph, is Saturday it takes 46.8%, which is the day that students don't want to study. And the second is Friday and Sunday, we take 31.9%. And mostly Cambridge University students prefer to study alone, which is 58.3%, and other is 39.6%, and lastly is 2.1% want to study from 3 to 5 people.
All right, Huang Wangi, if you could do the rest of them.
Next question. Do you study with people taking the same classes as you or people taking different classes than you? There are 54.2% of the people studying alone. 35.4% people choosing to study with those taking the same classes, and only 8.3% people who study with persons from the different classes. And the next question, do you listen to music when you study? We found 41.7% people saying yes, and 33.3% people don't listen to music, and 25% people think maybe. The 15th question, if so, what type of music you listen to generally? Okay, there are so many responses, but we can find pop, blue, soft, and classical songs are most popular with people we researched. Okay, next question. On average, what grades do you get? There are 56.3% people saying they will get A and B, while there are 27.1% people getting B and C, only 16.7% people getting straight A's. The last question, on a scale of 1 to 5, how well would you say you remember the material you study after the completion of the course? If 1 being very little, 5 being a lot, there are 56.3% people getting 3 points, while 18.8% people giving themselves 2 points. Only 14.6% people think they can remember little after the exam, giving themselves only 1 point. That's all.
And then additionally to these group results, we can also look at the individual results. So we can see exactly what each person wrote for their answers, which will actually help us to see like who said that they got the highest scores and who said that they felt like they remembered the course material a lot. And that's how we're going to decide and see like how they studied and where they studied. And yeah, that's our results.
And what do you
And I
need?
don't know how to stop sharing.
What do you need?
Oh no, I got it.
I'm waiting for you guys to get comments or showing you're aware of how to do the international communications, cross-cultural communications. What do you need to do after you finish going blah, 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 blah? What should you do?
Call someone out and ask them what they thought.
Make sure they understand. Yes. And ideally, get feedback for how to change so they better understand. Yes.
Can I ask feedback from Maria? Because I remember she said, I remember she was saying our topic was kind of interesting to her. So I would like to hear her comments about the results and maybe some limitation or development we can make.
Sure. So I think the survey results are interesting. I mean, they're not so surprising to me because I kind of expected, like, as you were going through the questions, I kind of expected those answers. Like, for the very last question, we can see they don't retain, well, we don't retain information really well after the course is over. And also some study, how do you say it? methods. I mean, taking breaks or not taking breaks, or how people usually study more from Monday to Thursday, and then like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they don't really study. So I think I kind of expected it, but now we can confirm it with the results. So I think it was pretty well done.
Thank you.
Are you aware of what kind of evaluation, or did you guys just volunteer to give that presentation?
Is it out of 10, right?
That means you're showing the teacher that you don't know, you weren't watching. Anybody in class know how many points this is worth today?
I don't remember, because at the beginning they were 15 and then it changed to 10, so I got lost.
10 points. The 15 points
Okay.
for the big week, the introduction week, and the background week. Everything else is 10 points each. So this week,
So I think it would be a 10 for me, because I think the survey is pretty complete. You can get a lot of information from it. So I would say a 10.
absolutely not. Now-
Well, I would say that.
I just
That's
did.
my opinion, a 10 for me.
This week, in addition to you guys being able to try to present, what are we supposed to be studying? We're supposed to study negotiation. So if Gwen and Will, if your team want extra marks, you need to practice some type of negotiations. Otherwise, we just go to the next group that wants to try to get points. If not, I'm going to start teaching negotiation details.
Well,
Wait,
sir,
wait, hold
I
up. I'm
think,
confused.
okay.
What do you mean?
Oh, go ahead, Gwen.
Oh no, I was just saying how I'm confused now.
Okay, so I was gonna say, if Maria didn't understand, or if our work wasn't clear about something, then we can have room for negotiation. But with her comment, I think there's no room for negotiation, I think, for now, sir.
You haven't supported it. If you're not providing some support, you can't easily justify your negotiation position. You're just saying, I like what she said. That doesn't usually help in negotiations very much. What would help in negotiations? How about I just give you 6 out of 10?
Then I will ask you why we got sick.
On average, and your survey generally shows it. Students, no matter what they present, almost everybody is expecting straight A's. That's right from your research. So to be more realistic, everybody's going to start getting either 50, or maybe I'll be generous, give you 6 out of 10 because you went first. So I'm using emotion. I'm using volume. I'm yelling. I'm being proactive. Even though I'm alone, I'm using a hierarchy. You guys may think I'm a higher level than you guys, and I'm using your own research support. Who wins this negotiation? Silence? Are we in Japan? In Japan,
No, I mean, what do you mean by a student expecting getting straight A's?
your research showed that.
No, only 16.7% said they are not expecting straight A's, but they are getting their average grade is straight A's. It's not expectation, it's the results, I think, sir.
What I understood from your slide is a huge number of students expected an A, and that was in red, and in blue, it was supposed to be straight A's. Which
No, I mean, that's not what they expect, but on average, what grades do you get? That was the question. So that's their grades, not
still,
expect.
regardless of class, regardless of topic, almost everybody, most of them are expecting straight A's. So my argument, which I invite you to try to negotiate with me, based on your research, students are spoiled and everybody thinks they deserve great things, even though their work is crap.
Oh,
Now, mind you, Gwen, you seem very confident. Will, you seem very confident. Soman Kim, you seem very confident. So I'm using you as learning practice for the class. I'm not going to fail you or give you bad grades. I'm just using you to teach the class on negotiation, which is today's topic. So we're doing two things at once. You're presenting and I'm presenting at the same time.
I mean, there's a misunderstanding between you and I right now, I guess, because the last part of the question was asking, on average, what grades do you get, not what grade do you usually expect?
Great. Okay. So, yes, sir. Can you hear me right now?
Can hear you, yes.
You remember his slides, which showed a huge part of the slide was in bright red. That was talking about the students that get an A. And I think it was something like 27%. Do you remember seeing that? Yes, sir?
You mean into this?
Triangles, it had a big part was red, and then another part about 17% blue. So what I understand was that was how many people got A, and that was how many people got straight A's, which to me means that many people are expecting very high marks. Did you see that slide? Yes, sir?
I think I saw it, but I can't like remember in detail.
Okay, so the second thing is the whole idea of what the students presenting today we're talking about, you kind of missed. You saw some images, but you didn't see their message, which is more of my point. Yes, I'm winning. I'm winning this negotiation. And I'm just alone, and you guys are supposed to be a team.
I got a question. Is it a negotiation if there's a winner? Isn't that like the opposite point of a negotiation?
Exactly, that's my point. I am doing the bad negotiation. I'm just yelling and screaming and trying to use some sort of facts, which is bad negotiation. What should you do? That's my point. And I'm using you as a bad example.
Well, you shouldn't stay quiet and let the other person think they're winning the whole time.
Exactly, speak up, right. So maybe Gwen gets higher marks. Maybe she gets 7, maybe 7.5 because she started the presentation. She helped encourage the other people to talk. She's trying to defend the group. So sure, Gwen, you get 7.5%. Everybody else, now you're down to 5 out of 10.
Can I negotiate something? Because I feel like my whole team deserves the same marks as I do.
Okay, next team, we win. Samaj, what do you have to say?
About the negotiation or about their presentation?
Either your presentation, if you want to get 10 marks, or about the class topic, which is negotiation today.
Okay, so I talked about the negotiation part. I see what you were doing when you were doing the emotion about like how you were speaking, because I was looking at the notes that you have on the PowerPoint about like negotiations and how you have like, is emotions good or bad when it comes to doing a negotiation, and if it's like really appropriate, and like the different steps in making sure you're correctly communicating with the person that you're trying to negotiate with, so that you can make sure both sides have a clear understanding of one another, so that you can actually negotiate and get to an understanding.
Right, so I understand you guys have been given a course outline since August. Many of you probably only started to see in September, but every class we've already seen the structure of the class, what is expected of the class. You can get points for attendance, you can get points for participation, you can get points also for this main project, sharing details of your research or sharing up to 10 marks for participation in the weekly topics. And today there's 10 marks for your survey, final details, how you managed your survey, what you managed with your survey, what you got with your survey, how you can improve your survey, how you can actually show cross-cultural communications, and that anything that you think is not really important, what's more important is what the audience understands. And I think there's only maybe 2 people talking after your presentation, which means but 98% of the class didn't pay attention at all. Ha! More points for me. So you can get points for your project, and you can also get points for talking about the weekly topic. So I'm mixing them up. And now we're just talking about negotiation because I don't see anybody else trying to present your project.
Can we present our project?
No!
Okay. No, can we? Because we have to do it today.
Did I not start the class by giving you the ability to host and you can start showing your PPT at any time?
Yes.
So why are you're the boss, right? You're paying my salary. I work for you.
Okay, so I'm gonna start sharing my screen. Okay, can you, yeah, you see it.
I can't see
so,
the text, so you're gonna fail too, but I can see your PPT.
yeah, I can see it. Okay, so our topic again is cultural differences within the student body at Keiming University. So survey results. Oh, over here. Okay. So today we're showing you the survey results. This is first for international students. We asked them what's your nationality. We have more French people. Then we have for people from Mexico, Germany, USA, Hungary, Finland, Dominican Republic, Denmark, and Czech Republic. Everyone has been here for about 2 months. That's the most of the people have been here for 2 months. And there's also some people that have been here for 1 month or 3 months, and just one person that's been here for the whole year. Most of them don't speak Korean, and some of them just a little bit, but no one really speaks fluent Korean. There's a buddy program that I believe a lot of you guys know. So 83.9% of the people found this program helpful. It's helped them in terms of doing paperwork, so going to the bank and paperwork inside the school and for the ARC and all that stuff. Also adapt to Korean culture, for practicing language, for making friends, and there's for people that saying that it didn't help. Food in Korea, most of people really like the food in Korea. There's like 13 people that said like, okay, yeah, we like it, and almost well, a pretty good amount that said that love Korean food. Not a lot of people said they didn't like it. Then how is it different from food in your country? The most results got like it's spicy food, and there's some people that are not used to it. They also said there's more rice, more seafood, that here we don't eat bread, that there's not many fruits and vegetables, different eating hours, more sweet food, more condiments, less cow meat, less salt in food. There's also people that said there's more meat, and there's 2 people that said it's hard to be vegetarian. Biggest challenge during stay in Korea, a lot of people said language barrier. That's like the most important one. Also the quarantine, which is like a special situation because of the pandemic. Adapting to culture, Korean friends, living in dormitory, staying vegetarian again, issues with the food, missing their friends and family, the weather, and living alone. Okay. Does being immersed in a different culture affects you emotionally? Some people said no, but also a lot said that yes, and some other people said that a little bit. Some also feel like they are not really immersed in Korean culture because they don't have Korean friends, and a lot of them said it's really exciting, so it doesn't really affect them. living in the dormitories, a lot of people find it good or very good, but not like excellent, just 2 people. But none of them also say that it's awful. So living in people that don't live in the dormitories, they find it convenient. Yes, that there was a big response about yes, we find it convenient. Something that's made the adaptation process difficult, again, language. Trash recycling it was really popular in this answer. Cultural differences, food again, and people staring at them also, and being away from home. Okay, so this is about the International Lounge. 6 people said that they haven't been there, but there's actually a lot of response about it saying, like they saying it's good. Some people find it nice, some great, and some like amazing, that they love it. Camion provides enough opportunities to interact with local students. It's more like in the middle, the opinion, like the average or overall opinion. But there's also more favor towards no, it doesn't provide enough opportunities. And of course, as in English, most of people say yes. Also, homepage, enough information in English on the homepage. And also, again, like it's more in the middle, but leaning towards a no. Local friends in Cayman University say a lot said yes, that they have, and actually I wasn't expecting it. 8 people said no, and they've met them through the body program or just casually, International Lounge, through other international students, on bars, and on the LACE program, on the same class, or in restaurants, or even one person said that on apps. The barriers for communicating with local and exchange students, language was the most popular again, also COVID, because special situation, also culture and shyness of local students. They feel like they are not really approachable. Some of the people said that. And this is with the Korean students that Minjin's gonna talk about.
Yeah, for Korean students, it shows a little bit different in some questions. Yeah, have you ever met foreign student in Cayman University? Yes, 56% said yes, and yes, 44% no. And next slide, please. Yeah, but it shows, do you want to make foreign friends? Most of them answer yes. So it's quite, it shows quite big difference. And have you ever taken the same course with the exchange students? And most of people, 80% said yes. So it is quite, it seems Cayman University provide enough class with exchange student and local student. If yes, have you talked with them? 65%, I think it's quite big. And the reason why they haven't talked with local and exchange student is that not enough opportunity and like reserved personality, like shyness. And some people say too busy and not enough confidence is also kind of shyness. And what do you think are the barriers to making friends with local and exchange students? As exchange students said, language barrier is the most popular reason, biggest reason, and not enough opportunity and cultural differences. Yeah, and reserved personality. And some people say they have in their society, apart from a local student, like exchange students are too friendly with them, and it's difficult to get in their society. They said only 2% answered that, and stereotype, not enough space to meet. Yes, some people say that. And the program with exchange student is only around half said yes, half said no, not participated in the program. And yeah, most of big part of them are satisfied, but if they didn't participate, they said they want to participate, but actually they didn't. So yeah, this is the result.
So yeah, we'll hop on to the survey results analysis. So to us, the international students' feeling about Kim Young University is quite mitigated. They have a really hard time making Korean friends, and for some, their body only helps them with administrative operations. So there is a wrong number here. This is not 32, but 18. 18% find the program not so helpful outside of administrative operations. But what is really stunning is that, again, this is not 50%, I don't know, this is an old version. But 26% of students have not talked to a single other Korean student. And the ones that did, most of them were introduced by their buddy, or they went to bars or some activities that were not inside Kim Young University. And knowing this program is not so helpful for everyone, we can easily assume that some people have a hard time finding alternatives to meet Korean people. For 56% of people, they find the biggest challenge to overcome, of course, is the language barrier. But also 13% find it really hard to like stay vegan or vegetarian while buying food on or around the campus. 50% of dormitory students find the campus dormitory average or worse than average. And more than 2/3 of students think Kim Young does not provide enough opportunities to interact with local students, making it even harder to make friends. So, yeah, next slide, please. To sum this up, we can quote some international students themselves. It's super easy to befriend exchange students, but very hard to befriend Koreans. They're shy and don't approach people first, but the problem is neither do I. Also, this is kind of a double-edged sword. Most people won't bother having to speak English and will kind of just ignore you. But some other will want to be friend, quote unquote, literally just to practice English or show off their English. But that's that kind of relation didn't feel the same as actual friends. On the other hand, 44% of surveyed Korean students didn't make foreign student friends, but 96% want to. Also, only 66% has talked to a foreign student. According to them, language barrier is also the biggest problem, but also they seem to have no chances of meeting new foreign people. So yeah, quote, no activities outside of class to chat with. But 66, yeah, like as I said, are willing to participate to the buddy program, assuming they want to befriend foreign people.
Okay, and this is it for our survey results. Maybe I don't know, when can you give me a opinion on this?
Can I say about your
Oh, and Samash too, or either one of you guys, or anyone else that wants to.
did I see Samaj, you had your hand up?
Yeah, so I think they presented their survey very well, actually. I feel like everything was clear and understanding, and I actually like the way they kind of separated the results from the international students and the Korean students, because everything wasn't jumbled and it was very easily, very, how do you say it? Very well put together, honestly. And I think that the results I found, honestly, they weren't really surprising to me, but I did find it interesting, even though I kind of already knew like a lot of the reasons why some international students don't make a lot of Korean friends, or why some Korean people don't want, can't get international friends, is due to language barrier. Even though it's not really surprising, it's still kind of interesting to see the actual numbers of people. But I think you guys did really well, and I'd like to give you like a 9 out of 10 for that. So that's all I really had to say.
Thank you.
Excuse me, may I ask?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
What is a buddy program?
A buddy program is so for exchange students, when we arrive to Korea, they how do you say it?
Partner you.
I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah,
They assign. Yeah, you can go ahead, Minjit.
yes, help to get adapted and in Korea, and like help to get bank account if they need it, and help to introduce like Keimyung University, and this is there is good food there is some facilities like the introducing the Keimyung University and Korea. That's the body program.
They basically sign the Korean student to a foreign exchange student so that the Korean student can help that foreign exchange student to get, like more comfortable at school. They help with each other. They can exchange languages and stuff.
You mean that they will help you?
Yeah, so the school offers a program, and the Korean students can sign up to that program, and they will get paid at the end of the semester because they participated and helped the foreign exchange students. And I guess you can apply for that in the beginning of every semester. They will send notice on the website.
I love how you have motivated your audience to ask questions about living in the university today. But how about we focus on the two biggest things: what you are actually teaching the world and how to negotiate. Those are the two topics for today. Any other topics, any other comments about how they communicated their presentation about student life? What did they learn? How about Kyung-Gun, you did not present, is that right?
I'm going to present after this presentation.
So I would like you to tell the world what you just learned from the first presentation, from this presentation.
From this presentation, actually, I have the answers, or I have expected those things because as I am a Korean student, and I know it is a very difficult to approach to international students, even if they are in the international lounge. I have tried many buddy programs, but I was actually
did they teach you something? Their message, what was the main message they were giving the world? Not just how much you learned, but what was their point for their communication to the world?
Wasn't it the differences between international students and Koreans, especially in Keimyung University?
One or two sentences, repeat what they are teaching the world. Can you do that? Every presenting today their topic, you're practicing communicating to the world something, and a problem that many people have is they just go blah, 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 and then they walk away. Or they keep talking about what they think is interesting. They say blah, 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 and they talk about this, but they don't talk about or think about what the other person understands or cares about. So I'm asking you, Kim Ganjung, what was the message the listener was supposed to understand? What was that valuable thing they're teaching me if I'm from Australia or Zimbabwe?
That future commerce, what they are going to experience. Am I on the right direction? Like they're teaching the word that the other foreigners will expect in living in Korea, or they will experience those.
Okay, I don't understand what you are trying to teach now, but okay, close. Anybody else want to try? How about bear with me. Batenzen Gel Anu Ujin, your turn. What did you hear was the message given to you in this presentation? Ujin, Anu Ujin, are you participating in class? Going once, twice, 3 times? No? What about Imin Gyu? What was the message you just heard? 3, 2, 1, not participating in class. Ulubek, what was the message you heard? 3, 2, I'm giving you time.
I have a question that what you guys recommend to the students who are participated in body program?
I'm sorry, I heard you speaking, but I didn't understand what you said. My question for you was, in our class talking about cross-cultural communication, many people in the world, they're standing here, they say something, and they usually only think about what they're thinking about and what they love. And so words come out from their idea, but the problem is it falls on the floor. The listener doesn't care about it, or the listener doesn't understand. So I'm asking you, that person that was talking, what was the message they're trying to give the listener? What was the one thing I should learn as the listener of the last 10 minutes? Why should I care about it? What should I learn from it?
What we're trying to say is that there are problems in Keimyung University, in the system of Keimyung University and exchange students, and we put them on the spotlight. That the main problem is.
We're saying your university sucks.
No, it doesn't suck, but it has problems. It's not perfect. And we are trying to say that, oh, this is a problem, we can improve that, maybe.
Okay, so there are problems, you can improve it. Is there a common message of how to improve it? Let's say somebody in Australia listening for 1 or 2 sentences. What is the 1 or 2 sentences to give them to learn how to improve it? Whatever your message is, what is the 1 sentence message, maybe 2 sentence messages max, you're teaching, you want the guy in Australia to hear?
Make students from foreign students and local students to come together and trespass the language barrier to get to know each other better, because it can improve.
2021, because of coronavirus and social distancing, all international students are supposed to just disappear because you're not allowed to come together. How can you come together? Okay, anyway, your message, good. So that's the message. The message, somebody in Brazil, somebody in Australia, somebody in Canada, what they hear is for international universities, international students to do well, they have to come together. Is that correct?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Okay. Yasserbek or Kivinjani, do you have a few comments? If you heard that, how does that impact you? Why should you care? Why should you respond? That's the first question for you, Yasserbek and Kivinjani. And then the next one is understanding this person is saying something from their brain, and you're supposed to see that's a person, see there's a message. How can that message be given to you better? How can that communication be done better? Cross-cultural communications. So Kivinjani, can you give a comment? Are you here today? 3, 2, 1. I can't hear you. I see a light around you, so either you need to talk and participate, or we go to the next. 7, 8. Who was the student that was supposed to talk about the 7-second rule? Or the Facebook rule? I hired you at the beginning of class.
That's me.
Great.
So as a foreigner, I kind of felt what they were talking about on the presentation, on the survey, because that's what I have experienced in the beginning when I came to Korea, when I came to Kenya for the first time. So I paid attention and I felt what they are talking about. And for the recommendation or suggestion, I don't think I have a better idea than theirs. So I will just stick to their point of view.
So there's 2 things I was asking. One thing was about the Facebook, or you were just describing that presentation. And so there's 2 people, one person is giving some sort of information, and the other person, you think there's no other better way for this person to understand this communication, this message.
Yes.
It's absolute. Okay, so we have some gods in the class. Great. How about, should we try Kivinjani one more time? And Ali Akbar.
Yeah, Professor.
I asked you a question. Please try to answer. What is your view of how that communication was given? How can it impact?
As a foreigner here in Kenya, there's the first of all, of course, the language barrier with Koreans, and because of the cultural difference, so there is a, you can say, I think there is a barrier in other cultural students, other countries students. So there's a hesitation, in my opinion.
Comments about their message, not giving comments about how they delivered their message. You're not talking about how they actually communicated information. So thank you for giving comments about their message, about their student studies. My question is different. My question is how they actually communicated. They used their voice. Did they do body dancing? Did they use a blackboard? Did they use a presentation? Was that communication done as efficiently as possible so any listener understands it and can get involved in the communication?
Through normal communication, I think there's no need of dancing and showing videos.
Following Edward T. Hall, he says some people use a few words, some people use many words. I'm from the culture that uses many words to understand what you're trying to say. You just use too few words. I don't understand what you're trying to say. Can we go to Moon Tae-kyun? Can you either repeat what Ali Akbar just said, what was his evaluation of the communication, or Moon Tae-kyun, can you comment on that communication that was given? Not the actual message, but how the message was communicated. Moon Tae-kyun, are you in class? Going once, twice?
Professor, can I share our survey results instead?
Yeah, yes.
Thank you so much. So I hope everybody remembers our topic. It was about the gender wage gap in Korea, especially for two companies. It was SL Corporation and Jaeyoon. Jaeyoon is a medicine company. So after I sent the email, this is just a summary. I have received another email that the contents or the survey contents must be confidential, that if this is leaked to other like YouTube or anywhere else, I'll be punished. So please don't capture it and share. And there were actually 31 people with this survey. We are actually hoping 30 to 50, but I don't think all of them have answered our survey. But so there were questions. So these were the answers the respondents have made. The answers are all in Korean, so I have translated everything in English for all of us to understand. And then our group have combined together, and we found some same answers, and the research will be discussed by Lisa, and this is the survey that we have done. If you can see the Google form here, the first question was male, female, prefer not to say, and there were actually 2 people who didn't say, and asking about their age. So we have to know how many years they have worked, and so we have the question how many years of work experience they have total and in the current company, and we have asked if they are paid equally. And about this one, Lisa will continue to share the research. So Lisa, please.
Can you share the screen, because I'm not, I'm okay now. Okay. So, as already mentioned, there was totally 31 people who responded to our survey. I would like to remind you that our topic was gender pay gap. So 60 of them was females and 38 males, and 2 of them prefer not to say. And you can see the age of 50% between the age of 26 and 30, 9 of them 31, 35, and 7 of them 36 and 50. The survey which we did was in the company of the SL Corporation, with respondents of 20% and 11 from the Jaeyoon company. The total of experience who employees has was 2 years, and the average of experience they have in current companies was 1 year, and annual salary was from 20 million to 50 million per year. When we asked the question about, do you believe there is a gender pay gap, almost 35% of the respondents answered that they believe, and about 22% and about 22% of the respondents they said that they don't believe that there is a gender pay gap, or they maybe believe there is a gender pay gap. Most interestingly, that the respondents answered the question like, what do you think is the reason there is a gender pay gap in your work? You can see in the graph that social perceptions take a place. The 8% respondent like this social performance could be the reason for the gender pay gap. And then second, difference of workload, then taking care of family, and the rest of them answered as education and concentration. In this graph, you can see that workload and intensity could be the main factors contributing to the gender pay gap. Then it took place education, then social perception, taking care of family and child, the work experience, gender discrimination, and less of employers answer it as a work efficiency and concentration, lower proportion in higher ranked positions. When we ask the question, is there any resolution to the gender pay gap in your company? 6 of them answered as a fair management of working hours. Then you can see in the table that regulation on parental leave and reinstatement are needed. Practicing pay transparency also could be a solution to the gender pay gap. The rest of them answered as a make wage regulation equal in the company, raising awareness of the benefits of increasing diversity and equity, and then high quality education, and then the last, work-life balance. When it comes to how this gender pay gap affects your performance, most of them answered that they lose motivation to their work. Then they also mentioned that they have not been influenced by this gender pay gap differences when in terms of their performance. Then others said that they feel low efficiency in their job. Some said that they feel depressed, and less of the respondents said that they had a hard to get promoted. So this is our survey result. If you have any question, if you don't understand, if you didn't understand some of the part of our survey, please feel free to ask.
And I would like to call somebody to make a grade for us or even negotiate the points. Could be, may I ask, like Gwen or Minjin Jung or Samaj, please?
Hi, can you share your screen one more time so I can look at one of the questions really fast?
You want a presentation part?
Yes, please.
Okay, okay. Oh, why I can? Okay. Here you go.
Can you hit the slides slowly, please?
Okay. This is the first. Then second.
Not that one. That one. Okay. So for this one, I just have a question. Was like were these things that you kind of that they put in themselves, or were these like different things that you were asking them in the survey?
So we are asking actually one question, which is, can you name the 3 factors?
Okay.
And the respondents answer differently, and then we combine it all together.
Okay, that's what I was wondering because I was confused for a moment. But overall, I did enjoy your presentation. I think it was explained pretty well. I'd say about an 8 to 9 out of 10. The results were clear. Everything was easy to understand, at least for me. That's really it though.
So much. And any other questions are very welcome. Or not, we can continue the topic about negotiation from the professor.
Okay, are you happy with the grade you got?
Of course, higher is always the better. But I am satisfied.
Volunteering. No grade comments. That means you're volunteering. Okay, so I'm going to start presenting my stuff. And what I have over here, hopefully you guys can see my slides. This idea of negotiation. What is negotiation? Some people think negotiation is just winning. Well, every interaction is negotiation. When you're communicating with somebody else, every student in class, especially the students that were asked today and gave no response, especially those students, a message is given and it is coming from your head or your heart. But so far, only your head or your heart knows about it and cares. So you're doing something. Sometimes it's verbal. Sometimes, as we learned in week 6, it's with silence. Sometimes it's with body language. It could be with time. It could be location. Many things impact the message. Same thing with negotiation. So something is being given. Usually it's with words. How much is going to be understood by the other person is important. So many people think I need to win the negotiation. I need to win and get a mark. So I need to just say lots. Wrong. That's not good negotiation. Number one, good negotiation, good presentations, the same thing, good communications should involve the other person also. If you are just talking, if you are just presenting, and the other person just says, good, that's not good. This guy is lying to you. You should get the other person involved in the communication. Otherwise, it's just you blah, blah, blah. So negotiation should not be winning. It should be sharing the pie or growing the pie, negotiating together. Some people say it's called win-win. You are winning by giving something, but what is the other person winning? What are they giving back to you? Check that. Make sure. Almost, some people say every slide. What do they learn? So, what else? Ulugh, what is negotiation to you? What seems most important? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What about Kamanjani? What is important with negotiation in your mind? Just checking, there's still 21 people here, and yet I'm the only one talking. Nobody is communicating, which means I must be doing a terrible job and nobody else is participating anymore. What about Sarnigar?
I just wanted to ask if I can speak. I took a class that's called Negotiation and International Relations Problem Resolution class on the first semester I came. And negotiation is pretty much a really interesting topic for me because it really helps to communicate with other country cultures and companies. And for me, negotiation actually plays a lot of role. After learning the class, negotiation is not just a communication, it's negotiating pretty much everything. It's just not going like settling to one thing. It's also like sharing opinions and arguments with the negotiator or the different person.
Most important thing to you is just sharing opinions? Is that
no, what I am saying is it's just not only sharing dealing or going to one like resolving the problem. It's also sharing opinions and arguments. So it's not just about winning all the time. It's about communicating and sharing opinions and arguments.
Okay.
Can I share my opinion?
I'm not sure who is trying to talk.
Oh, this is Jasur.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, the negotiation is not only about like winning or getting what you want. It's also building a relationship with the other negotiator that I'm negotiating with. So the most important thing for me is to build a relationship, long-term relationship with that negotiating person. I just don't want to get what I want, but also I want to build connection with that person after negotiating something.
Wow, great. What you were just saying, the idea of your message, it sounds identical to what textbooks teach some Asian countries describe they want, except Russia. Russia and North America, they are usually saying they care just about the immediate details and the benefits that they can get for most of the time. I'm not saying what's ideal. I'm describing some cultures, how they are thinking when they come into a negotiation. You were describing what you were thinking is important. And I'm saying in Russia, a lot of the research says the people in Russia are just looking for that immediate detail, not tomorrow, not the long-term relationship. Versus in China, it is the relationship. It is the long-term agreement. Versus in North America, a lot of people are looking for how much money can I get for this today? Just that immediate detail, not usually the long term. So check, where is the person you're negotiating from? Because that will influence what they're looking for. And that will define what winning for them is. Winning for China means long-term relationship. Winning for you might mean long-term relationship. Winning for somebody in Russia means they get the most product for the lowest price. Same thing in USA. So make sure you're aware of that. Before the class is finished, I'd like to make sure everybody is aware of this bottom line. So can Kavanjani, can you read this bottom line?
Yes. BAT and best alternative to a negotiated agreement.
Great. What do you think that means? Can you teach the class what this means, Kavanjani?
Sorry?
Can you try to explain this to the class? I have had it in front of you for a little while. You haven't asked questions. I assume you understand. So try to explain what this means to the world.
I have no comments.
Can I share my opinion?
Okay, yes.
So BATNA is that means when you're negotiating and you don't get what you wanted, you need to have another option. So basically that's called BATNA, like best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So that means if I have something planned to get and after negotiating with that person, I cannot come to an agreement, I should have another alternative agreement that kind of makes that person to agree what I want. So it's basically like having another option, having another best option to win the negotiation.
So if I use my body language, if you can see me acting right now, many people are saying that you come to an agreement, I want this, the other person is going to offer this, they want this, and if you can't get this exactly, the best strategy is to not just have one thing. The best strategy, as you were saying, not just to have an alternative, it's not just one, but you should be thinking about many things. I could offer many things and they could offer many things. Don't just focus on the one, focus on many possible things. And if you can't get this, maybe you can talk about this or this or this or something else. So being able to focus on many different alternatives so that there's many types of winning is better than just focusing on one thing alone. Do not just have one message. With cross-cultural communication, do not just have one idea of giving one message. Make sure you understand what they understand about it and check the alternatives. Same thing. So I understand class is finished now. Next week, we're also going to be talking about negotiation. I'd like to end with just showing you, you guys can see my screen, is that right? Hua? So everybody was supposed to have these marks in these weeks. If you didn't get marks during these weeks, you need to step up your game. Otherwise, you've missed those marks. They are possible only if you're very proactive. So week 3, we talked about something. Week 5, we talked about silence. Week 9, we've talked about the initial idea of negotiation. But then week 10, we're going to be talking about chapter 12, more details of negotiation components. So next week, there's a chance we may have somebody from another country describing many different types of negotiations. And I'd like to end by just showing you, for all of the rest of our classes together, we have a weekly component, a weekly folder that you're able to see. And in addition to just the one PPT, there's many different articles. I want you to come to class with some type of reliable article or story that you can share with the class. Practice communicating something. Don't just give something, but give something during class and practice checking the other people understand it and start going back and forth with many different aspects of it. Is that clear? How about Gwen? Can you summarize what I just said is expected for the next few classes? Not here. Kyunggun Jung, are you here still? Yes, sir. Could you summarize what we were just saying?
You want us to bring an article, helps us to better be a better communicator. That's what I got.
Good. Yes, that's one part of it. Yes. Or you can just check in the folders for the class. I have already shared several. So start checking what they are and start communicating with the class about them. Good. Thank you very much. Class is done. The rest of the students have been quiet. Make sure you step up your game. If you're not communicating in class, cross-cultural communication, you're not getting the points. It's going to be hard to get through the class. I want to help you. Please accept the chance when you have class for that. Another thing that we were talking about is this whole idea of the groups. You have groups. You can contribute details. I haven't seen too many students sharing too many files here, but thank you, Jules. Thank you, Rosie, for starting the comment a little bit. Please start sharing your files in the Facebook groups. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Professor.